Welcome to the Axiom. New file detected. Launching file.
How's it going, everybody? My name is Leo, and today we are continuing the Where the Water Tastes Like Wine file. Where we last left off, we had finished up the stories of Rose and Bertha, and now we are heading up to see August, who is all the way up in Oregon, and then we're gonna head east to visit Cassady and Franklin, and those are gonna be the last two people. So we might possibly be finishing the game today. Who knows, really? But yeah, I'll be right back when we reach August. Also, I don't know. I'm getting kind of tired of swapping out stories every time I visit a new person, and like at this point, a lot of my go-to stories that I really like are already fully evolved anyway. So I might just see if I can coast through these last few people without swapping stories. If I change my mind later, I'll just change my mind on the fly, but we shall see. So yeah, I'll be right back when I reach August. Actually, let's go ahead and evolve a story. Kindly old man. The story about the immortal vagrant defended by an eagle familiar. Interesting. And then we'll go ahead and do this to get money, because I noticed that Franklin and Cassady were both super far away, so I might end up taking the train. Want to make some cash? This woman asks. She's balancing a box of bread and lettuce on her head. You help her grill hot sandwiches in a tent at the edge of the county fair. Their work is easy as hell. She pays you decent money too. Alright. Now I'll be right back when I reach August. So it actually looks like we have a story here in Portland. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then we'll head east to
The old
that.
man's shoulders slant under the bright-colored bird. Maybe that's why he stands with a cane. Man and bird watch your approach with interest. "Howdy, stranger," says the man. "Howdy, stranger," croaks the bird.
Ask the man about his bird.
The man shifts his shoulder, bobbing up the bird. "Rosalie here tells fortunes." There's pride in his voice. "Ain't no other like her. Care to hear yours? Just a single coin." He leans on his cane and extends a well-worn palm.
Sure, I'll go ahead and hear my fortune.
Your coin disappears into the man's jacket. He jingles one pocket, then scratches Rosalie at the back of her bill. She rasps. "The greatest burdens on your road are the ones you choose to carry."
What does that mean?
The man cracks a smile. "Make of it what you will. I like to think it means our lives get easier when we forgive ourselves. She's a smart bird, is Rosalie." The man tips his hat. "Good luck on your way."
Alright, move on. The fortune-telling bird. Let me go ahead and get that money back with this. Or maybe it'll give me sleep, actually. Alright, give me sleep. Yeah, it's the women at the campfire again. Alright, let's go ahead and evolve a story, and then I'll head up to August. The bull that bled forever without dying. The stabbed and bleeding bull. Okay. Oh, looks like we have another story here. Let me go ahead and hear a story. The rich kid who hired 100 poor workers to dance a show for him. The imperious child asking for money. And let's go ahead and look at this story.
A woman crouches in this meadow, making quick, fine strokes on a fresh page in her notebook. She gives you a small, careful smile. Want to see what I'm working on? She asks.
Sure.
She beckons you closer, and you see a flower half finished on the first page of her book. As you watch, though, she moves quickly to the next page and begins to draw the cluster of tangled stamens inside it with eerie, incredibly detailed accuracy.
Keep watching.
She speeds up. She flips to the next page and draws a minuscule bug nestled between the flower's delicate innards. Flip. Next page. Now she's drawn its eye. It blooms across the page in under 3 seconds, as real as anything. Too real. But before you can ask, flip. Next page.
Huh, interesting. Keep watching.
Now she's drawn some weird cluster of stringy filaments. Is this the surface of the bug's eye? But she's on to the next page, faster than ever. Fingers a blur as they spread a tangle of dots and lines. Your stomach somersaults.
The Empress or the Star? Let's go for the Star. I'm gonna turn away.
The artist jerks her arm in surprise, digging an ugly trench in the paper. It steams. She sighs. My heart's always telling me to go further, but nobody'll come with me. She looks you in the eye. That's what I want. Someone to trust me on the way down. Through the eye of the needle.
Move on. The woman with the tremendous artistic ability. Interesting. Alright, let's go ahead and visit with August. Like an angel.
I was still a kid when dames started turning my head. Long gams, gleam in her eye, all dolled up, and I was done. I didn't know how to talk to a dame. I was a boy, play acting as a man. But when I indulged in a little liquid courage, I was off to the races. Anyhow, you got any stories that end looking up? I miss those hopeful ones.
Okay, hopeful story. Tell the story of the ring which grants wishes.
Leaves a warm feeling in your chest, huh? My wishes? Thought I wanted a dame who kept quiet, wouldn't give me any lip if I stayed out too late. Instead, Louisa marched in with a sharp tongue and a wink, and I got everything I never knew I wanted. But you know, the books I miss the most is the hopeful ones. Got any of those?
Probably. Oh, I do have it. It's here. Tell the story of the bull that bled forever without dying.
Well, that one sure makes me smile. Sadness? Yeah, remembering it all makes me sad. All the time me and Louisa wasted fighting, you'd think that'd hurt the most. But remembering her smile, her laugh, that's what tears me up inside. But you tell me, what's the wildest thing you've seen on the roads out here? Anything good and exciting?
Yeah. Tell the story of Paul Bunyan, the lumberjack who towers over the forests.
That's the kind of adventure that sticks with you. Our home? Louise and me didn't have much starting out. We lived in a log cabin on her daddy's land, but that didn't matter. Home ain't nothing but a state of mind. But you know, the books I miss the most is the hopeful ones. Got any of those?
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and leave.
Well, here's the sun. Gotta get going soon. All this talk makes me think about my girl. Before our daughter, I never knew what it was like to have a life depend on mine. But once I held my baby girl in my arms, I finally learned my daddy's lesson.
I wonder, it described him as a sailor, but maybe he's not a sailor. Maybe he's like someone who wanted to be a sailor, but he got a wife and daughter and that made him happy. And then I wonder what happened to them.
What about you? What lessons have you learned as your life goes twisting along?
All right, I'm going to go ahead and evolve a story and then swap out the ones that he already knows. And then we'll go ahead and maybe finish up August. Singer, actress. Story about the empty town where they found 100 smoothly faceless unknown corpses. Wouldn't it be smooth faceless unknown corpses? Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and evolve a story, and then we'll finish off August, maybe. If he doesn't have a chapter 4. Farmer. The cart horse faster than a steam train. The man who loved his very special horse. All right. Let's go ahead and visit with August. Can't win for losing.
I had me a wife, a baby girl, but no livelihood.
So he does have a chapter 4.
I tried my hand at my daddy's factory work, but I wasn't up to snuff. For every bottle I filled on the line, I emptied my soul. When the war started, I figured I'd fight for my country. But they wouldn't take me on account of all those years reading. Couldn't see well enough.
Huh.
But the Merchant Marine, they took me as I am. And then I had everything.
So he did become a sailor.
Anyhow, you got any stories that end looking up? I miss those hopeful ones.
Yeah. Tell the story of hearing the songs of angels and demons channeled through a mad lounge singer.
Leaves a warm feeling in your chest, huh? I loved my family. But when I entered the service, I fell in love with the sea and my brothers.
I wonder if his family either left him or died while he was out there.
You think your heart can't make room enough, but it grows bigger than you can imagine to fit them all in. But you tell me, what's the wildest thing you've seen on the roads out here? Anything good and exciting?
Thrilling? Tell the story of the devil taking form as a bull sent to terrorize sinners.
That's the kind of adventure that sticks with you. Authority? You pegged me right. Never liked being told what to do. Not the way my father dished it. But when it comes to the sea, you do what you're told. For yourself and your brothers. So I miss them blood-pounding adventure stories. You got any like that?
So yeah, he doesn't like authority except for when it not only helps him but helps the people around him. Tell the story of the spirit of the buffalo, which must run each year to protect its kind from extinction.
Ooh, tell another like that and you could write a good rag. My home. When I was a kid, home was my daddy on his chair and mama listening to the radio. But for a while there, the sea was my home. As welcome as a worn leather seat. Its call sweeter than any music. But you know, the books I miss the most is the hopeful ones. Got any of those?
Yeah, let's go ahead and exit. He seems to want hopeful and thrilling mostly, so we'll go ahead and stick with those when we're swapping out.
Well, time to get going. I'm off this way when the sun rises. But talking with you brings it back. The good and the bad. And the bad's what sticks. I died the day my ship was sunk. I felt alive on that sea with my brothers, and knowing I was doing right by my family, my country. Almost wish I never felt that way. Never knew what I'm missing now. Maybe I'll find it here at the bottom of this bottle.
Alright, we'll go ahead and evolve a story, and then we will hear August chapter 4. Probably his final chapter. Kindly old man. The bull whose blood could cure any sickness. Okay, so that one's fully evolved. Alright, we'll go ahead and evolve another story. And then, finish out August. The growing flock of those dead at the hands of fascism. Pale death tending to his flock. Alright. August's last chapter. Fly away.
Krauts that sunk my ship took most of my sight in the blast.
Oh, so he's mostly blind? Let's see, this is a seagull. He's tied to a seagull, and the harpoon is speared through both of them. And you can't really see it under the text box, but the hands coming up from the water, at least one of them is holding the rope attached to him, trying to pull him under.
Came home, couldn't work, couldn't read. But I could drink. That I could do. Easy as falling off a log.
What about your family?
And I could lose my family. I could do that too. Anyhow, you got any stories that end looking up? I miss those hopeful ones.
I completely forgot to swap out stories. Completely forgot. Tell the story of the brothers who sought one another for 50 years and their spirits still search today.
Leaves a warm feeling in your chest, huh? But my family. Don't talk to me about my family. Louisa could have helped me. She could have at least tried, if I'd let her. But you tell me, what's the wildest thing you've seen on the roads out here? Anything good and exciting?
Yeah, I got one of those. Okay, thank goodness. I thought I didn't have one of those. Tell the story of Pecos Bill who rode a tornado up and down the Midwest.
That's the kind of adventure that sticks with you. Joy? Well, I had a kind of fun, I guess. I'd go out with old pals to the juice joint, laugh enough to beat the band, flirt with dames. Louisa's waiting at home, but I don't care about nothing. I'm tanked. So I miss them blood-pounding adventure stories. You got any like that?
Not anymore. Oh, yes, I do. Never mind. Thank goodness. Tell the story of the Thunderbird swooping and darting around the high places.
My blood's pumping. That's the kind I used to like as a boy. Freedom. Yeah, I got nothing holding me back now. Just me and the bottle and the road. So I miss them blood-pounding adventure stories. You got any like that?
Nope. We'll go ahead and leave.
Brothers left me. Wife and kid left me. Country left me. Spend our whole lives living for the future, never realizing that when it comes, we'll have been forgotten. Sorry, mouth is dry from all this talking. And I reckon I got nothing left to say.
Achievement unlocked, August. Alright, well. Okay, so we're going to go ahead, and it's a long trek to Cassady. I think is going to be the next one. So what we're going to do is I'm going to walk as far as I can, and then if I can find a spot to get some money, I'm going to see if I can hop a train at the nearest city. So I will be right back. Go ahead and involve a story. Singer actress. The story about the mountains of Denver which preserve voices as if in amber. Oh, that's cool. Alright, looks like we'll go ahead and involve a story first. Little boy. The pond where swimmers are caught by land-walking fish. Okay, and we have a story right here.
The man takes a shine to you. He leans in too close and talks about the true music of the soul people who know him, about the things he's done. Everyone else in the club is focused on the stage, but he ignores it and talks to you.
I'll go ahead and listen.
It talks about everything. His life, songs he used to play, mentioning names that sound famous and familiar. Club-goers and musicians alike pat his shoulder as they pass. He is liked and respected here. Perhaps the tales are true, but he talks only to you.
Let's go ahead and buy him a drink.
Before you can order a round, one arrives, and he pays. With weathered fingers, he clinks his glass to yours, talking once again about his shining days, his best days, how much he means to this culture.
It's getting late.
Soon, he nods off at the bar. You gather your things and leave. By the door, however, you see a faded old gig poster. You recognize him in the big band ensemble posing there. Younger, smiling brilliantly, sharply dressed. But you cannot remember his name.
Did he never give his name? The Lonely Man with a Saxophone. Huh. So that's interesting, he told stories of all the people who are familiar and more famous than him. But he's doomed to obscurity, I guess. Alright, do I have stories in that town as well? Maybe I won't finish the game in this recording if there's gonna be more stories on the way. I wasn't planning on... I thought all the stories were just gonna be gone. Alright, well, let's go ahead and, evolve a story and then hear another story. The bus stop. The cops who went to war against strikers in Minneapolis. Okay.
Two men sit in the shade, exchanging insults. The first says, "That's a low blow, even for one like you." The second responds, "One like me? But you're the cheating, lying son of a..." The first sighs and shakes his head. "No, that doesn't sound right." His tone is oddly jovial.
Listen in.
Good point. How about, "You're a scoundrel and a thief"? Nah, don't think you can carry it off. Not with your accent. Could just call you a... You often do.
I'll make it... No, Justice or the Wheel? What are you doing?
Oh. The man looks almost bashful. Just practicing, see? Not gonna play you, so no harm in saying. He glances at his brother. We're good at cards, but unlucky at them. Don't see it hurts to rig the game a little. We're working on a distraction.
Huh, alright. Good luck.
Perhaps you could have benefited from their foresight. Or perhaps this is foolishness. They are, at least, unlikely to meet your old opponent.
Move on. Is he talking about the wolf? The brother scheming to win at cards? What the heck? That was interesting. Okay, well, it looks like we have another story here in Bismarck, so let's go ahead and get that.
The woman hauls a bin of clothes over to a vat of gray water. She's sluggish. Moving seems to take great effort. She plunges a shirt into the vat, begins working it over a washboard.
Let's go ahead and approach.
Despite her slow movements, there's an inexorable intensity to the way she works. But her eyes are bloodshot and glazed, her lips cracked and split. She can't have slept or washed in days. She collects the next bin, moving with the shuffle of a sleepwalker.
Who's making her wash?
You enter the nearby shack. A man's inside, sorting through a jumbled bag of dirty clothes.
You hear about Celia? I know how it looks, but she's fine, really. Since her daughter vanished, all she's been able to do is work.
He smiles.
Best worker I ever had.
Admonish means like reprimand, right? I'm gonna admonish the man.
He jabs a finger at you.
This isn't your business. Others have tried to help, but it's no good. All she wants to do is work. She gets agitated when she's disturbed. I make sure she doesn't work herself to death. I'm all she has.
He shows you the door.
Move on. The mindless laundress who couldn't stop working. Oh boy. Alright, I'll cut to when I get to Cassady. Alright, never mind. I guess we have a new story here in Fargo, so I'll go ahead and gather that after I do this. Waitress at the diner. Seagulls who tell fishermen where to find the best catch.
Some students have paused their long walk home to rest on the bank of this clear, shallow pond. Above them, a plane makes low and hazy loop-de-loops. They gaze into the water.
What are you looking at?
A young man points at a girl who stands alone on the shore.
Her dad's in the plane.
He murmurs.
We stop here every day to see him.
He points into the pond, and you realize that the plane is flying under the water. The image in the clouds is its reflection.
What on earth?
The girl drops to her knees and stretches her hands into the pond. And when her father roars around the loop of the shore, his engines splash mud all over her clothes.
Papa!
She sobs and lunges for the water.
Help her into the water.
You hold her hand as she steps out onto a slippery rock in the shallows.
Wait!
Her friends shout. But when the plane banks past, she leaps, and you push her for good measure. Splash.
Did she make it?
The water clears. She did. She did. She trails white-knuckled from her father's tail fin like a windsock as he swoops around the far end of the pond. But on its way back, the plane doesn't turn. It's aimed right for the shore.
Move.
The plane ramps straight up past you into the sky. A flash of the girl's wind-squashed face, her father's wild smile. And the wings snap through the treetops, and they're both gone in the clouds.
Thank you!
You hear her cry. Her classmates burst into tears.
Move on. The girl who waited for her father's plane at the pond. That's really interesting. Alright, looks like we have another story here in Duluth. I was not expecting this. As much as I would like to finish this game during this recording, I don't know if I'll be able to. Legendary Gwen Mitchett, the richest and most ruthless bootlegger ever. Huh. Story of the shootout between the female bootleggers and the cops.
The only place in town that will let you through the door is a smoky windowed lounge, advertising cheap drinks and sweet-voiced singers. When the singer comes on stage, though, something about him seems familiar.
Who is he?
The other guests recognize him too. They all bolt out the door. The manager rushes on stage.
This isn't the same guy.
He bellows.
We fired his brother.
You realize this singer is a perfect doppelganger of the one who scrambled your brains with his song.
His brother.
There are a few wild-eyed diehards left near the stage.
We want your brother.
They shout.
I can't do that shit.
The singer protests. Suddenly, his eyes widen, and he points a shaking hand toward you.
But you could do it.
He says.
You got a dose of the good stuff.
Huh. I wonder, did I unlock this story because the, is this like a reoccurrence of the Mad Lounge singer, who did like the love song? I'll go ahead and sing for them.
You take your place at the microphone. The fanatics gather at your feet. Men and women, old and young, lips parted in sweet anticipation. Sing, they whisper.
I'll go ahead and sing.
You're not sure what you sing. It escapes your ears somehow. But while you're on stage, you hold their lives in your fist. They'd take bullets for you. They'd lay themselves down in the river and let you make a bridge of their backs. Is this what performers feel all the time?
It's exhilarating.
As soon as it's over, the feeling's gone, and you won't be getting it back. Something inside you, some chance eclipse of power and opportunity, has shifted out of alignment. The singer pats you nervously on the shoulder. Thanks, the manager whispers.
Move on. The unnerving lounge singer's brother. Okay then, interesting.
A group of men across the street from the jail wave you over.
Thank God you're here.
The man is sweating profusely.
I thought George hadn't come through for us.
Another eyes you appraisingly.
Not much brawn on you. You better have the brains to compensate.
What's going on?
No need to play dumb. It's just us here. We can speak openly.
The sweating man seems impatient.
Your role has changed slightly. You'll still be the distraction, but it's gotten riskier. Davis's fault. We think the guards recognized him.
I'm not.
No time for that.
The sweating man takes charge.
We got the dynamite. We know the timings. The longer we wait, the riskier it gets. You.
He points at you, then down the street.
Make a scene. If you can involve the police, all the better. Then scram.
Head down the street.
It's too early for the shops to be open, but a car is parked awkwardly outside the grocer's. There are an unusual number of men in the street. Several have the awkward casualness of a policeman trying to look like a civilian.
Let's go ahead and create a diversion.
The gang is risking liberty, perhaps life, to rescue their own. Such loyalty is admirable. You could assist without being implicated. If you cried out in agony, it would briefly catch official attention, and the gang would get an unwatched moment. It might be enough.
Howl with pain.
Your back spasm is convincing. For a few seconds, all eyes are on you. The two officers who assist you to a bench could be clearing the area of civilians or genuinely solicitous about your pain. Either way, you bought the gang a moment in which to plant the dynamite.
Wait.
A sudden recovery might seem suspicious.
Wait.
Boom! Well, that was impressive. You should probably make yourself scarce.
Move on. The men planning a jailbreak. Okay, we are finally here. No more distractions. I see a story over there, but we're going to get it later. Let's go ahead and speak with Cassady. Moaning low?
Where are you headed now? I'm thinking about getting out to the coast again. I want to get to Frisco and gaze upon the Pacific Ocean like in days past. Contemplation of water is an ancient healing practice, you know? The vastness of the sea makes the personal wounds we suffer seem small in comparison. That's a theory, anyway. Silas told me that once. Do you know any stories that will make me laugh? A tall order, I know.
Yeah, let me see what I got. Tell the story of this. Do I have any 2-1s? Yeah, tell the story of the intelligent cows who took over their owner's house.
That's a good one. I know I don't laugh the way I used to, but I appreciate it. Wishes come true? Well, someone got what they wanted. Pauline did. She hung out with us weirdos, tolerated us, played along, and yet what she really wanted was to settle down and have a normal life with someone. Just straight ahead marriage. A good American couple. Kids too, why not? Ironically, it was Silas who said once to watch out for your dreams coming true, that it's often a curse. I wonder what Silas himself wanted. Did his wishes come true? Sometimes I want to hear a sadness that resonates with my own. Do you know any stories like that?
I'm sure I know a couple. Tell the story of the man who seemed all right with death down by St. Petersburg.
Look, you can't just have a happy ending. A story needs to feel truthful, too. That one didn't.
Are you kidding me? That one's hopeful?
They were my family. It wasn't just that we were close. There was something stronger that bound us to each other. It was a sense of belonging to each other. We were going to share our lives, and we knew it was meant to be that way. Silas said once that we were bodhisattvas, born into this world to help people.
I don't know what that word means.
It was a nice thing to say, but I had my suspicions then. Now I don't believe it at all. Sometimes I want to hear a sadness that resonates with my own. Do you know any stories like that?
We're gonna go ahead and tell this one just to make up for the what just happened. Do I have any other 2-1s? Tell the story of the deer which chose death over enslavement.
The tragedy in that story, it's real. Have you ever tried writing poetry? A free mind ponders all subjects without fear. A free soul expresses its spirit without restraint. Silas had that kind of freedom once, or I thought he did. Something changed in him, though, and he began to shrink away from that. He became introspective and morose. What happened? In darker moments, I wonder if Pauline turned him against me.
But I wonder if that's just in his own head.
No, that's just my imagination. Sometimes I want to hear a sadness that resonates with my own. Do you know any stories like that?
Tell the story of the negligent parents who fling their dead children onto trains to hide the bodies.
That one was like getting locked out in the cold with nothing but your sorrow. I liked it. When things change, trying to understand that something is truly lost is difficult work. To think, I didn't mean enough to Silas for him to want to stay with me. Or his fear got the better of his desire and he settled for something he didn't want instead. Or I meant nothing to him anyway. It was all a lie. These things do a number on me when I'm out here on my own.
I wonder if he's the one who married Pauline.
Sometimes I want to hear a sadness that resonates with my own. Do you know any stories like that?
We'll go ahead and exit. He seems
I
to know nothing but
suppose after a
sadness.
while I'll start to realize how little I can change and accept myself as an uprooted poet howling unheard into the winds, seething with anger and pain. Exiled to a little island of suffering surrounded by storm clouds. Really just a sad little bum that nobody cared about. That sounds about right. I've gone on long enough. Next, I'm traveling out this way. Keep an eye out for me if you find yourself over there.
All right. That's not very far at all, yeah. We'll go ahead and swap out stories really quick. Just the ones that I told him. All right, we'll go ahead and evolve a story, hear that story, and then here I think Cassie's last chapter. The waitress, the cow landlords who evicted their human tenant and lived indoors.
In front of the cops is a sturdy house. It is neatly shut up, and there is an undisturbed layer of dirt on the front porch. Crack. There must be someone inside.
Investigate the house.
No one responds to your knock, and the door is locked. But a barrel below the window affords easy access inside. As you poke your head in, there's a whistle, and a rope catches your neck.
Move, and we'll choke you.
I guess stay still.
Listen up. You're gonna go, and you're never gonna come back, and you're not telling anyone about us.
The person speaking jerks the rope around your neck for emphasis.
Stop it!
Someone else shouts.
Listen.
I said, I'm not staying if you hurt people.
That's the second voice, No, it's a child.
If we don't keep our home secret, how are we going to be safe?
Another child, a boy. You slip the noose off while they fight.
Greet the children.
The girl glances at her sullen companion before addressing you.
I'm very sorry, but you're not welcome. We don't allow adults here. Adults cannot be trusted.
She reaches for your hand.
If you promise not to tell anyone where we are, we'll let you go unharmed.
I'll go ahead and promise.
Thank you. You're all right, I reckon.
The girl smiles.
Good luck on your travels.
The boy sticks his chin out.
If you tell anyone, I'll get you.
The girl sighs.
If you tell anyone, we'll have to live in the woods.
She explains.
Move on. The homeless children. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, they probably don't have anywhere else to go. Alright, let me swap out the stories that I told Cassady really quick, and then, never mind, I already did that. Did I already do that? Yeah, I think I already did that. I think we're good. Let's go ahead and visit Cassady one last time, question mark? On the country miles.
Looks like I'm still me and you're still you.
Okay, so Cassady also has a chapter 4.
A pity, isn't it? To be stuck with ourselves like this. All this wandering and I couldn't escape the one thing I wanted to be away from more than anything else. I suppose that in the end, we all have to settle down inside ourselves. but I don't want to be the way I am now. If I could, I'd live inside the past, inside the time Silas and I had together. Back on the road together, forever. Alone, out here, I spend too much time inside my own head. Can you tell me a hopeful story to lighten my mood?
I can certainly try. Tell the story of hearing the songs of angels and demons channeled through a mad lounge singer. Yeah, we'll go with that one.
I like that one. Makes me feel the way Silas used to in the old days. My love, did I overwhelm him? Was it too much for his delicate soul to be caught up in the storm of my love, my desire for him? To have him, own him, make him a part of myself.
I mean,
I dearly wish he felt the same way about me, but I'm not sure that he ever did. It may have been that he just enjoyed the flattery of my worship.
Cassady seems very obsessive, and I don't know if that might not have been what Silas wanted.
And, you know, I was far from the only one who thought of him that way. I need an optimistic story right now. Something to put a smile on my face. Can you think of any like that?
Tell the story of the travelers cursed to travel across America for 100 years.
That's a good one. We do reach up like that, towards hope. Did Silas ever imagine a future with me? What did a genius like Silas see in me in the first place? He never said anything directly about my work. Other people came to him for writing advice, and he would suggest changes in diction or grammar or tense, and they'd go away happy and leave him alone. But Silas and I usually just talked about the weather, or people we knew, or how we'd get to the next city over.
Maybe he wanted to talk about writing and you didn't, or something like that?
What he taught me was hidden under the surface, like a cone. Alone, out here, I spend too much time inside my own head. Can you tell me a hopeful story to lighten my mood?
Nothing but hopeful stories, huh? Tell the story of El Paso, where everyone acts with kindness lest their sins go on show at the theater.
That's a good one. We do reach up like that, towards hope. Faith often comes as a variety of hope. Hope for yourself. There's some kind of magic that happens when you're with someone who makes you feel like the person you want to be. In my old life, I never had the chance to talk about life, the point of things, what I'm supposed to be doing here. If I ever ventured it, people called me a freak or worse.
Is he talking about like being gay, or I don't know, I can't really tell.
Now in comes this man Silas, who is built of these thoughts. You can see how I believed he was sent from the heavens just for me. Sometimes I want to hear a sadness that resonates with my own. Do you know any stories like that?
Now I wonder if he was talking about the time before Silas. I wonder if he was talking about either being gay or just about like his thoughts on poetry and the world and stuff. Let's go ahead and leave.
It was a hell of a time, that trip I took with Silas. Train hopping, hitchhiking, walking, whatever we could do to get across the country. We talked to everyone, bums and hobos, machinists and librarians, waitresses and cops. We wanted them to show us who they were. Now it's gone, done, in the past. But that's not something I should be mourning, is it? It's something I should be celebrating. My next walk takes me up the road this way. Where does your road take you?
All right. Okay, yeah, that is where he is. Let's go ahead. I'll go and swap out really quick the stories that I told him. Okay. Oh boy, the lag is real. Okay, so we'll go ahead and I managed to get a car to hitchhike me across the bridge because I was looking around and could not see any way to cross the river nearby. Night trains which carry corpses across the Dust Bowl. Looks like we have one more story.
The girl looks at you with suspicion. The scrawny chicken just looks at you.
Did Mama send you? She wants to take Jacqueline, but I won't let her.
Is Jacqueline the chicken?
She bobs the chicken.
Mama says she's only good for meat now she stopped laying, but she's my best friend.
She squeezes the bird to her chest. It bops her chin with its beak. A tall woman comes out of the house and walks toward you. Jacqueline squirms nervously.
Is that her?
The girl takes a step back.
Give me the damn bird, Nance.
The woman says. Nance gasps.
This stranger wants to buy her.
She blurts. Her eyes beg you to play along.
I'll play along. That's right.
The girl's face lights up. Jacqueline balks happily. Her mother looks suspicious, but takes your money.
More'n that bird was worth to us.
The girl takes your hand.
Thank you. You'll take care of her?
I'll go ahead and keep the bird.
You set off on your way, Jacqueline tucked under one arm. She grows increasingly restless the further you venture. Finally, her wriggling is too much. You set her down on the road. She charges back the way you came. Some friends just can't be parted.
Move on. A girl whose best friend was a chicken. Alright, let's go ahead and finish off Cassady. Let the words be yours.
You want to know something funny? I've been misguided the whole time I've been speaking with you. I was in the library in Seattle and I found Ovid's Remedia Amoris, The Cures for Love.
So he's like trying to work, but at the same time he's just so down. Is that hence the storm clouds?
There's a part where he specifically advises against traveling alone to overcome a heartbreak, which is exactly what I've been doing for so long. I laughed, a wild, bestial laugh. They came over and kicked me out. You never know what you'll come across when you read whatever you can. Alone, out here, I spend too much time inside my own head. Can you tell me a hopeful story to lighten my mood?
Sure. Okay, so that's the one he already knows. Tell the story of the girls who could talk to the dead.
That's a good one. We do reach up like that, towards hope. Everyone thinks they understand love. I thought I knew what it was too. As a poet, it was my subject, my area of expertise. But really, I had no idea. It isn't about what others do to you. It has nothing to do with that. Love either comes from you or it doesn't, and that's the end of it. Sometimes I want to hear a sadness that resonates with my own. Do you know any stories like that?
It sounds weird because it sounds like he's leaning into the mic when he does that. But he, for this one, like for this chapter 4, he clearly like leaned into the mic, but for the rest of them he didn't. So the ones that aren't part of this chapter sound a lot quieter. Tell the story of the radio man who left his job on land to provide an AM station to mermaids.
The tragedy in that story, it's real. Have you ever tried writing poetry? The future, I don't know what's to come after all this, but at the moment I can't bring myself to care. The whole time I wandered alone, I lived in the past and put all of my hopes in something yet to come. I need to let go of all of that.
Yes, you do.
I've decided there's no such thing as the future. It's a healthier way to go about this business of living. I need an optimistic story right now. Something to put a smile on my face. Can you think of any like that?
I'd like to tell a 3-1. Just tell a story of future New York, a worker's paradise. That's, yeah, hopeful.
I like that one. Makes me feel the way Silas used to in the old days. I thought that I'd get freedom from Buddhist detachment, Zen meditation, grasping for some ineffable thing. What really kept me down? Only my own conceptions of things. Maybe the Zen that Silas talks about contains the seed of his own disappearance from my life. I bet he'd laugh at that notion. I need an optimistic story right now. Something to put a smile on my face. Can you think of any like that?
We'll go ahead and exit. Leave.
When we first met, I asked you why you were on this road, but I was the one who really didn't know why I was out here. Now I'm off again, this time to find a place to stay a little while.
I'm sure that'll be good for you.
Not sure where that'll be just yet. I only know I want some place where I can see the water and watch trains go by. Even at rest, I still need to be near things in motion. They say the Dharma will end, like all things, and the time of its ending has already begun. So what is there for us in this world? Why should we stick it out here? I don't have a great answer to that, but I feel better than I did before.
That's good.
I loved Silas. I still love him. Love him like nobody else. But everyone goes their separate ways in the end. We all have to wander. See you around.
Achievement unlocked, Cassady.
The pup is a skinny thing, but its eyes are bright, its fur is shiny, and its tail thumps the ground eagerly at your approach. It won't come at your call. Instead, looks around as if worried that acknowledging you would mean betraying another.
Move closer.
The dog isn't tied up or injured. Must be well trained to sit so patiently. With a noise between a huff and a bark, it bounces to its feet when a small boy comes into sight. The child is ill-dressed and dirty, and grinning like a fiend. Lion, you're so good.
Ask where he got Lion.
Reckon he'd been left by a circus. Found him in a field with old ropes and pots and stuff, and a circusy looking flyer.
He pats Lion.
He's trained. I was thinking about finding a town, trying to earn some money showing his tricks, but I don't think he'd be happy.
I have no choice but to request a trick.
The boy inflates with pride.
All right, he won't get shy as there's just us.
He turns to Lion and looks deep into the dog's eyes.
Lion, please will you find me a hat?
Oh, the dog scampers away. A hat?
Lion can fetch anything. He understands lots of words.
The boy shrugs.
Mainly he fetches stuff I can sell. It's a living. We never take anything important.
His expression is guilty, but not repentant.
Praise their cunning, I guess.
The boy grins. Barking announces the return of Lion. He's got a fedora on his head. It's tilted rakishly. The dog scampers to its owner, who transfers the hat from Lion's head to his own.
Isn't he good? We'll get by. There's nothing we can't do together.
Move on. The boy with the circus dog. Alright, let's go ahead and evolve another story. The violin forever haunted by Louis Ames. Okay. We have another story over here, so let's go get that. Alright, we have yet another story. We have quite a few stories. But we are almost... Oh, I need to start heading north now. Okay. Let's go ahead and search.
He spent a half hour filling you in on his plans to drive coast to coast. Enthusiasm radiates off him. When he talks, you hear the blare of the motor, feel the wind ruffle your hair, taste the tang of oil on the breeze. But why he dresses like a racer is beyond you.
Are those gloves deerskin?
Of course. Where's the joy in driving if you don't look the part?
He slips off a glove and has you feel how soft it is.
Driving really is the only way to travel.
I'll say I prefer to walk just because... Yeah, I prefer to walk.
There's a beat of silence. He smiles awkwardly, like he doesn't agree, but doesn't want to gainsay you.
If you're ever along the Mother Road, keep an eye out for me.
Ask to see his car.
He laughs.
Oh, friend, I would love to show you, but that's for another day.
He strolls off, whistling. The woman seated on a nearby step croaks a laugh.
What's funny?
She shakes her head.
Factory's never gonna reopen. He'll never get the money. He'll never get his damn car.
She chuckles.
Hadn't dampened his spirits none. Spent his last cent on those ridiculous clothes. That coast-to-coast trip is all he can talk about.
Move on. The driving obsessive who didn't own a car. Alright, let's go ahead and evolve a story. The fisherman who tried to catch the same fish for 50 years. Alright, we'll go ahead and do this story in Cincinnati, and not Cincinnati, Columbus, and then we'll head up north to Franklin.
A Chevrolet idles outside a dusty filling station. A man bends over the radiator, sweat beading on his face. Two girls in matching flower sack dresses sit beside the car. The man looks up as you approach.
Got a moment to help me fill the radiator?
Let's go ahead and fetch water.
Sure do appreciate it.
The man tells you.
It's a wonder we get anywhere, what with the goddamned radiator always breaking. Third town in a week. I keep looking for work, but haven't found anything.
He shrugs.
Gotta be jobs somewhere, right?
I mean, I guess.
He laughs and claps you on the back with one grease-streaked hand.
Of course there is. Not in the next town and the one after that. There was nothing at home for my girls. I didn't want them growing up like that.
The radiator's full.
Maybe I'll see you up the road a ways.
Move on. Family searching for a new life. Alright, looks like we have another story here in Cleveland, and we're almost up to Franklin.
At the end of a low-lit, smoky bar, a young man is recounting a story to a woman whose dark pin curls bob with every fascinated nod of her head. He nonchalantly waves the .38 special he's holding.
From the bank.
Is pitched high enough for half the bar to hear.
Listen in.
The bartender rolls her eyes. No one seems particularly bothered by the storyteller or his weapon. You catch snippets of his tail as he waves his hands.
Farm. Everything will be all right now. Just a little robbery.
Stand out,
I'll go ahead and distance myself.
It isn't right.
the bartender says. She glances at the man.
Reckon his folks are grateful to have the money no matter where it came from, but bragging about it? I'd at least feel ashamed if I'd done it. If he doesn't, I suppose that's between him and the Lord.
Move on. The man who robbed a bank for his father. Okay. Looks like we have one more story in between Franklin and I. And then that'll be it.
Workers cluster outside a dilapidated church. A heavy-set man sings a work song as he swings his sledgehammer down on a broken retaining wall. His voice builds a rumbling harmony with the splintering stone. A burly man rests calloused hands on his idle jackhammer, rapt.
Let's go ahead and listen to the song.
The melody is funereal, but the words are ecstatic. He sings of the sun breaking through clouds, of cold water drunk straight from a running creek, of a woman in white at the door of the church, his rising joy as he turns to face her. By the end, even the foreman is smiling.
Move on. The Singing Workman. I like that one. I'm actually going to go ahead and swap that one in. Alright, Franklin. You're the last guy we need. And then I don't know what comes after this. Well, after this is going to be Chapter 3 or Chapter 4, but I don't know what comes after this. The Whistle of an Evening Train.
It's a funny thing. Someone looking right through you. But don't lie to me, friend. I know you want to know the truth, what it really means to be a porter. Well, I can tell you it's more than making white folks happy. That's just how it's supposed to look. But you go on so long being how you're supposed to, you're not quite sure how to go back to what you are. Though I suppose I can give it a try. Have any optimistic tales? I'd like to hear one of those.
Sure. We'll go ahead and tell the story of the singing workman near Detroit.
Just like I told you, friend, miles of smiles. I guess the future's in our hands. Nobody had ever seen organized black folks before the Brotherhood came along. It's on us to make sure that's how it keeps on going. See, I spend a lot of time thinking, will we be the first black union or the only one?
Oh, is he thinking about joining a union?
Anyway, I'm in the mood for a good happy story. You got me?
Sure thing. Tell the story of the Duckmaster, Edward D. Pembroke.
A positive attitude. That's what I like to hear. When they want to liven spirits up, to bring each other joy, all railroad folk tell the story of the steel-driving man, John Henry. But only us porters talk about Big Old Daddy Joe, the best porter who ever lived. I've always been more partial to that tale. You got any stories with a bit of excitement to them?
I'm sure I do. Tell the story of the scientists who could conjure dust storms.
Didn't I hear that story on the radio? You told it better, though. Home for a porter is the next train station. It's a warm Baker heater stove in the middle of cramped living quarters. Have any optimistic tales? I'd like to hear one of those.
Okay, we'll go ahead and exit.
Another night over. I've got to get going. My journey takes me down the rails this way, but it was good talking to you.
That's not very far at all.
And how'd you like that, Sharon? Our dark silhouette's a little easier to make out. Sooner or later, the whole world's got to know what we really are and what's it really like. That's the only way we're really going to matter to anyone besides ourselves. And now that you know the bad, doesn't the good sound that much better? Sharing goes both ways, though. Is your truth a little more complicated, too?
Franklin's Travels. All right. Let's really quick swap out the stories he already knows, and then we'll head up to Franklin again. All right. I have no idea if Franklin is at Chapter 4 or not. We shall see. Rising up to Paradise. Nope, this is the last chapter.
Some people like to think of porters as some special kind of black folks. I suppose that's true. I know I don't always correct them.
So he's like, he puts on a different like mask for whatever the people in the train want to see.
But we ain't special. Not really. No matter where I go in this country, I'm a black man before anything else. That was true before I put on this uniform, and it's going to be true long after I'm buried. Have any optimistic tales? I'd like to hear one of those.
Tell the story of the girls who could talk to the dead.
Just like I told you, friend, miles of smiles. Love, I was worried about losing it. I was afraid having to pretend to be kind all the time would stop me from feeling the real deal.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm just a bad actor. Because none of what I perform for those passengers compares to the love I have for my brothers and my people. You got any stories with a bit of excitement to them?
Some thrilling tales. The story of the Thunderbird swooping and darting around the high places.
Didn't I hear that story on the radio? You told it better, though. When do I feel free? Well, it's always a party when the train rolls through Harlem. There's a real movement happening. So much art and thinking and expressing. Money and trains only gives a sort of body freedom. Mind freedom is something else. Anyway, you must have some funny stories to tell. Share one.
All right. The zombie who worked in vaudeville, and this will be the last story we tell.
I'll keep this story in my pocket for sure. It'll make some passenger laugh. Death? Not sure how it'll come to me, but it will. A train is a deadly thing. All burning fire and crushing gears and choking smoke. And if none of that gets me, I'll die the old-fashioned way if I stay here long enough. I always figured that was the real message of the 1159. Anyway, I'm in the mood for a good, happy story. You got any?
Okay, we'll go ahead and exit. I have no idea what happens after this. Leave.
Seeing yourself as just one part of a whole people can make you feel real small. I believe some black folks become porters to try to get above all that. But they just end up feeling small in a different type of way. I think of all I am in all the masks I wear. Franklin, black man, Pullman porter, railroad man, union man, and how none tell the whole story. So why try? It's freeing to know you mean more than what other folks think. So what about you, friend? Who are you, completely?
Continue. Achievement unlocked Franklin. Oh? Okay. Hang on, I want to see what all we got. So a beautiful brass conductor's pocket watch. It's broken though. The hand stopped at 11:59. A dusty dried sunflower heads. This would be from Franklin. The flower head, I think this would be from Rose. A beat up paperback with a lurid bright cover promising adventure and more. That'd be August. A peach pit carved into the rough shape of a flower. I think that would be Cassady. A pendant of a skull with a distorted forehead. I don't know who that would be. Or maybe the sunflower is Bertha? I don't know. I don't know. Well, the camps are all back. Oh, and they all have the wolf label. So I guess let's see what happens. Achievement unlocked, Storyteller. Direwolf Chapter 3, Where the Water Tastes Like Wine.
Congratulations. You finished your task.
I hope in the end you at least found it fulfilling.
Yes and no.
Hearing stories is important work. Everyone wants to be heard, and so few are listening. Let's talk once more before you go your way.
I guess let's talk about change.
Everyone does eventually need to die. Probably even me. And certainly even you.
Let's talk about love.
There was so much love in the stories you collected, but so rarely without pain.
Let's talk about the world.
And did you find it? The place where the water tastes like wine? I've tasted many a stream, and I've never found anything like that.
Let's talk about sadness.
Will it be a sad story in the end? Many of those people seem to have sadness at their core.
That's very true.
Perhaps that's the real truth of this country, and the heart of the big lie.
But to end it, let's go ahead and talk about joy.
Will it be a happy story in the end? The promised land seems so close you could almost touch it in some of those stories.
Who knows?
Do you think they will build it? Well, that is it then. The last night of your journey. Here you go, off into a new adventure. I hope the journey was valuable, and maybe the destination as well. Goodbye.
Oh, this is a cutscene? Oh. Okay. So... I have some thoughts on this game. It had a... I went in with, like, pretty good expectations because I was like, oh, this is just, like, an underrated, good indie game. I don't know, like... This song is cool. But it definitely had a lot of good and bad to it. The good, for sure, the stories, the voice acting, and a lot of the characters. Like, the stories were so interesting. And a lot of them, like, the evolutions were cool. I really liked them. There were obviously some that I liked more than others, and those were the ones that I told more, but yeah, it was overall really good, and it was good seeing the people just tell all of their stories, and all of them were different, but all of them carried kind of the same themes. The bad, though, the gameplay was a pretty big chore. I don't know how many times I would be like going to cross a river and there wouldn't be any way to cross it for miles, and all of the like cars, I couldn't hitchhike because all the cars were going in the opposite direction, and like just these long expanses of walking with nothing to do except for go from one story to the next. It was definitely an exercise in inconvenience, to say the least. And then, of course, there were the bugs that I encountered, which kind of like dampened the overall experience. I don't know. Like overall, I'm glad that I played it, even though the gameplay itself really bogged it down, and it was a chore to get through a lot of the time. The stories and the like people, I think, made it worthwhile in the end. But it's like it's a fine line. But yeah, we are finally done with it, and we'll just go ahead and wait out the credits, see if there's anything at the end, and then I'll conclude the episode. Okay, I hit B because the song started repeating. If I hit resume, what happens? Oh. Is it just the wolf again? Yeah. Okay, well, that's gonna be it for Where the Water Tastes Like Wine. Thank you everybody so much who watched this series. Let me know what you think down in the comments. After, I know I asked for like first impressions at the beginning of the video, and I'm interested to see what you guys think now that everything is said and done. Overall, it's definitely not what I was expecting, but at the same time, I think it was... Some parts were what I expected, and other parts definitely weren't. And yeah, I don't really know what to think about it still. I don't know. But yeah, look forward to something new. At some point, whatever is going to be taking the, I don't know if the last episode is going to be airing on a Monday or a Thursday, but look forward to whatever is taking this slot next, which I don't know what it's going to be yet. Also, I have a Twitter now for the channel, @AxiomArchives. You can also let me know there what you think of this series, as well as in the comments or on Twitter, leave me game suggestions. I'm constantly trying to keep up with new game announcements and stuff, constantly adding games to my list of video games to try. Don't know if all of them will be played on the channel, but I'd like to get to as many as I can. So yeah, by all means, leave suggestions in the comments or on Twitter for me. So yeah, thank you everybody so much for checking out the video. I really do appreciate it. If you want to be notified of when I upload the next part of the files of the archives, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and ring that bell, as well as leave a like or comment if you so desire. Thanks again, and I will see you next time.
Upload successful. Click here to view previous files. Have a pleasant day.